welcome to episode 92 of the This Old Knit podcast. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine on Ravelry, Instagram, and Pinterest. And you can find show notes for this episode and all previous episodes on the corresponding numbered thread of my Ravelry group. So welcome to new and returning viewers. It has been a very busy couple of weeks. I am working on trying to get my house ready to put up for sale. And I mentioned in the last podcast, we're in the process of moving to Connecticut. So this is gonna probably be a fairly quick podcast just because we are demoing is not really the right word, but my husband ripped the railing off of our deck yesterday and some support posts as well. So he's replacing all of those today, and then he's going to build a second set of stairs. He's already rebuilt and replaced the main stairs that we take up and down to our parking area, but there's another set of stairs that goes down into our yard, and those need to be replaced as well. So yeah, that's going to happen today, and he did go to the gym, but he's doing a lighter schedule to accommodate all of the crazy amount of stuff that we have to do. We've made a lot of progress though, and I will talk about that more at the end of the episode in a blathery section. I do have 3 giveaways going on right now. 4. So I have my 3-year Podiversary giveaway. I have my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Then I need to draw prizes for the first quarter of the Stash Your Shelf Challenge. And I need to draw for the adult garment cow. So I haven't been using the hashtags either, and I apologize for that. So I will draw for all of those prizes later today, and to you it will be seamless because I will put that onto the end of the episode and hopefully include a timestamp here of where you can go find the winners for those various different prizes. But I have not recorded that yet, and I have not drawn for those yet. So let's just get right into the knitting, shall we? I also, because of the craziness of time and traveling and time travel, no, I wish I could time travel. I worked a ton on my 10-stitch blankets, which is very boring for the podcast because, ooh, look at all the gartery goodness. But at least they're different colors, right? I didn't even bring up my bigger 10-stitch blanket because I forgot it. But that one is just various natural shades of alpaca wool. It is Cascade Heritage. Is that Heritage? Boy, I suck. I'll share it with you next time. But I was only knitting on that one because we had workers here who were doing and closing all of our ductwork coming to the upstairs with the drywall, and they had to have the heat off while they were going in and out. And while it's beautiful and the birds are chirping and I have the windows open, so ambient noise caveat, when they were doing it, it was not warm at all. It was in the 30s, and so it got very cold in our house. I think in the 50s, which is about 10 degrees Celsius is what it got down to in our house. And so I was just cuddling on the couch with Magwin in the blanket. And we also were running around with shawls on. So I have some pictures on Instagram of that, but I decided to just knit on it since it was sitting on me anyway. It is a usable blanket. That's the one thing I like about the 10-stitch blankets, is that while you're knitting on them, you can just keep making them larger, but you just have one tiny little double point in there, so you can totally snuggle under them. And if some stitches come off, oh well, it's only like a tiny strip to pick up. Before I discuss knitting, I want to show you my new mug because, oh my gosh, I love it so much. It is from David's Tea, so they were having a sale on their previous season's stuff, and this mug, I wanted it so badly when I saw it when they released it, and I thought I had missed it because they didn't have any in the store and they didn't show them on the website, but then they showed up in the sale section for 2 for $30. So here it is. It is glass, like frosted glass with painted flowers all over it. It is not dishwasher or microwave safe, but I forgive it because it is beautiful. So I plan on this being my work mug when I get to my job. Or maybe it'll be my podcaster mug. I don't know. But I do like to share with you guys my different Starbucks mugs as well. But I thought it was pretty and I really liked it. I need another coffee mug like I need a hole in the head, but there it is. David's Tea has my number, and so they keep getting my money. Darn them. So yeah. And I'm just drinking coffee today. Normal, plain coffee. Okay, so in my rainbow llamacorn bag by the very talented Pandia's Jewels, who is Nimruz on Instagram, I am housing my glittery blanket of unicorns and magic, aka the Gibbum. It's kind of outgrowing this bag, to be perfectly honest. So I think I need to sew a new Gibbum bag because it deserves its own bag. So I haven't decided yet what I'm going to use in terms of material to sew. I might just finish my Narwhals bag because I have that one all the way cut out, the zipper's installed. I just have to sew the lining together and the outside together, and it's quite a bit larger than this one. Let me put that double point up there. And I have done a ton since I showed you guys last. I also extended my color progression because I had got quite a bit of the way through what my husband and I planned together. So while I was sitting in a hotel room being bored, I went through my next set of color progression. I've already made one change to that because I was going to include this fondant fiber in the, is it Cornflower Meadow? No, Ultra Blue that I got in the Advent swap that I did with Annalena from the Anna Knitter podcast. But it's almost purpley blue, and I'm going through navy blues right now, so I'm going to save it for when I'm doing purples because I think it will match better then, and it's really beautiful. So I did knit quite a big strip of that, and I did not like how it was playing with the other colors it was near. So I'm gonna, yeah, more to come on that. It'll come into the mix later. So right now, excuse me, it's allergy season. Right now I am working with the leftovers from my Bow Ties Are Cool shawl. And it is a Volan Vine Yarns Blitzed base colorway. It was called Experiment in Blue. I think it was when she sold just a bunch of mystery skeins. So you could, she's done that before where she's had listings and you don't know what you're going to get. And this was a bunch of different colors of blue. I think she was playing around with blues, thus Experiment in Blue. But I think of it as like Rhapsody in Blue. But Experiment in Blue. Okay, so I put a stitch marker on the last place where I shared my blanket so that I would be able to show you the progress I've made since then. This is in Little Bitty Delights from the collaboration she did with the Yarn at Home mom for the Gilmore Girls subscription club. That was last year. This is Strawberry Pancakes It's so cute. I wish I could show you the detail on the strawberries. They have like the little white seed things and everything. It's amazing. So the colors I've added, and you can see I started to go into some brights because I've got a lot of oranges and yellows, so I did add in some oranges and yellows, but hopefully in total it's still gonna be okay. Here's what it looks like. It's starting to look a little bit more crazy, but I think that's gonna happen as it gets bigger because I do not have that many very muted sparkle minis. So I think as long as I have a good mix, once it's really big, it's gonna be fine. So let's come closer again. So this one is No Makers, and if you're just joining me, this blanket is all out of Sparkle Yarns. So this is her Sparkle Gnome base. This is the Garden Gnome colorway. I really like this one a lot. I think it would make a really cute sweater for Joshua. Those colors would look really cool on him. So that one made it all the way around to here. And then I added in Under the Tree. This is leftovers from a pair of Christmas socks I knit for myself. Again, No Makers colorway. And then this one is also No Makers, but I don't remember the name of it. It is from her Villains pack, I think. These were some of the minis I got in the Rando Mini Skein Club over the years. I think I did 3 years of it, and she's not doing it this year. So I don't know what this colorway is, but again, it's a really cool one. So it has kind of transitioning from here, it has more black, mustard, and it keeps that brick red between the two. Sorry, my ties have completely come off of my chair pad. It's kind of falling apart, my rocking chair padding. My mom bought them for me years ago at Christmas. I think it was the year we moved into this house. So it's been almost 10 years, but they had little straps, tie straps, but they're ripping, and the cushion is actually ripping open at the point where those joined. So I've kind of tried to patch it over the years. There's a similar chair bottom on it, but I need to order a new one. I don't think I can patch it anymore. So that one went all the way around to here. And then this one, I believe, is called Where You Lead. It is from the Yarn at Home Mom Gilmore Girls mini skein sets. She did 3 of those. Yeah, 3 themed packs, and then she had one for the A Year in the Life, and there were 4 of those. I think 1 for each season because they went by seasons. But it's this beautiful fall foliage type colorway. It's got the golds, the oranges, and some kind of almost limey green colors in there. It's really beautiful. I would love to make a sweater for my husband out of this. That is totally his color. Okay, and then we came down here, and originally I had said I wasn't going to do any self-striping in my blanket because I had tried with a few that were true self-stripers, and they looked weird because the stripes were really, really thick on the blanket. However, I realized that the ones that maybe are meant to be micro stripes or to just have like little dashes of color throughout, when you knit them on this small of a stitch count, they do actually end up being self-striping. And if you look, this corner is what cinched it for me. I've actually had self-striping all along the way. So if you look up across this corner here, you can see, that's really annoying me, my pad falls on my back every time I lean forward. You can see the stripes. So this has more subtle stripes, but certainly that faded blue, brown, and cream color. And then this one has rainbowy stripes, and this one has stripes of blue, green, and chocolate. So I kept it. I think it is okay. So this is Campfire, again by Gnome Acres, and I think if you knit it up on a larger set of stitches, it ends up being like it's a fire. It might even flash or pool to be like flames. I don't really know, but on this small of a count, it is just very nice stripes. So that one got me quite a ways. The Gnome Acres minis are quite beefy. And then I went into eggs. And that one is kind of a tonal variegated yellow. And then I transitioned into Wonder Woman. This is also Gnome Acres, as is this one. So Wonder Woman. They're very sparkly, but this light just doesn't show a sparkle. And then I transitioned into some minis that I got from Rainbow Ange in a swap. I have no idea where they're from or who is the dyer, unfortunately. So I can't tell you. Let's see if I can. Blooper reel. That'll be good enough. Okay, where was I at? Okay. So, excuse me, Rainbow Ange sent me these. Ooh. Okay, you can see some sparkles right in there. See those things that look like little white dots? That's sparkles. Okay. So it was this one. And then she sent me almost a lighter version of that same thing, so I transitioned into that. And I finished here. And then now I added on that Experiment in Blue, which is a tonal by Bull and Vine Yarns. So that is my 10 stitch blanket. Like I said, it's got some loudness in there, but you know what? I still love it. It's still sparkly and magical and beautiful, and it is great. So there you go. And it's been really fun to knit on, so that's the important thing, right? And I think after this navy blue color, I'm going into a little bit more subtle. Got some more Yarn at Home Mom. So this one, and then some Gnome Acres. And then I think I go into some of this, which is leftovers from my sockhead hat. And then I'm transitioning into greens and then back into like some tans and mauves and reds. If you're interested, you can look on my Instagram feed, because I've got the whole snaky progression there. I will just insert a photo here in case you are not Instagram-y inclined, so you can see it too. And then in the bag, I'm just keeping a little Notions pouch, because when I was flying and stuff, I wanted to have a little set of scissors, a darning needle, and I've also got like just some stitch markers in here. So I'm using this little pouch, which came from David's Tea. I think it was their summer collection last year that they had a bunch of sheep. but this is a nice canvas, so it's really durable, and it has a little set of, here, because Jilly says she likes to see what's in people's bags, so I have a little set of rainbow scissors, because what else would you use for the glittery blanket of unicorns and magic? A button that fell off of my dress pants that I have to sew back on. I found it when I was cleaning the bedroom, and I was very excited because I had to replace it with like some weird random button. But I knew I still had the button. Darning needle, a cake stitch marker, and a kind of row counter stitch marker combo that is also rainbow. I don't really need that for this project, but it's a good thing to have in your thing. I also have a tea bag of ginger pear white tea, emergency tea, right? A package of thimblets. These are awesome. If you're knitting and you keep stabbing your finger, you can just pop one of these on your finger. And yeah, that is pretty much all that is in this bag. I have spent enough time on the Give 'em. Let's move on. At this rate, I am not going to have a short podcast, and I have crap I need to do. The second thing that I knit a little bit on, although I don't know if I made a lot of progress since last time I showed it, are the Felici socks I'm making for Megwin with the gummy bear colorway. I'm not sure I've knit anything on these since last time I showed them, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. I cast on a project for the Harry Potter cowl, the Hogwarts class cowl that I started a thread for. Meg from the Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits podcast and the dyer behind Bad Wolf Girl Studios is also hosting this cowl in her thread. So I am knitting with some of her yarn. This is her sparkle base. You can see there's tons of sparkle. So her sparkle base is very, very sparkly. This is her Ginny Weasley colorway, and I've had this for a while, and I always intended to knit some socks with it, and so I thought this was a perfect time to cake that up. As you can see, I do not have much done on them. I cast them on last night, and I knit about half a row, and then I had to put them down, so I went and did some stuff in the basement. But I'm going to do the Weasley Homestead pattern on these. So double Harry Potter reference. That's one by Erica Luder. I knit a pair of socks in it last year, and I really like how they fit. It's in my cupcakes bag I sewed. I need to sew some bigger bags. And last time I talked about a Notions pouch that I inherited from my Aunt Lynn's stash when she passed away, so I wanted to show you that because it was hard to describe. So it's a denim pouch. It has like little circles embroidered onto it. And on the back, I thought this would be a great place to put pins from either podcasters or enamel pins that people have sent me as gifts or that I've purchased, because it's a nice blank canvas, and unlike a field or a fringe supply field bag, it won't get super heavy because it can't hold a ton of stuff. And it reminds me a lot more of 80s jean jackets, and I definitely had a jean jacket covered with pins. I don't know if my mom still has it, but if she does, at some point I'm going to go and claim it because it has political pins on there from different things that I went to. So I know that it has like political buttons from when the first time that Bill Clinton ran for president, and yeah, it's got a lot of different cool memories. So I would love to have a couple of those pins on my bag as well. But I told you I have all of these Yarngasm podcast pins. So I have this Yarngasm podcast pin. This is not her latest one. She got another one for Edinburgh. She sent me one, but I don't know where I put it. It's packed up somewhere. So I've got that one. I've got this adorable fuzzy little fat unicorn pin from Pandia's Jewels. I got that with pink fluffy, is it pink fluffy unicorn or pink fluffy llamacorn yarn. I also have a matching stitch marker. Got a Bad Wolf Girl Studios button, this adorable Sparkles of Knitting unicorn, a little kitty playing with a yarn ball, Ninja Chickens pin, another Yarngasm podcast pin, my resting stitch face, and a Wool and Vine Yarns pin. So not a ton. I'm not really collecting them, but I do get them from time to time in packages or with orders. So I will decorate said bag accordingly, and there's room on this side too. I can't imagine I will get enough to be more than this because it's just not. I like particular ones, but I'm not looking to have a gigantic collection. And in here, I've just got some tuft woolens. I need to get more because I'm running out of those. Some washi tape, because you never know when you need to washi tape something. Some lip balm, some mints, a counter bracelet, a little tape measure, some more thimblets, and a wooden ruler. These are my favorite ever. Amanda made a bunch of these. I don't even know if she still carries them in her shop, but they were like $1, so I bought like 6 or 7 of them. I gave some away as prizes. I have one in almost every Notions bag because they're perfect for measuring if your gauge swatch is right, or if you've knit enough on a sweater, etc. They don't stretch out like a tape measure will, and for some reason my children don't break them. So there you go. Notions bags, they're a thing. What else have I knit a lot on? I didn't knit that much on that, so I'm not going to even show it. New cast on since last time a podcast is the Cavello mittens. So I made, see, look, another bag, another ruler. So if you'll recall, I made these for a gift package, and I wanted a pair for myself as well, so I found some yarn at Tuesday Morning, which I was pretty excited about, and there are no Tuesday mornings in Connecticut. I'm not sure why I didn't factor that into my moving plans, but I didn't. So, yeah, boo. It's okay, I'll survive. So this is Voyager yarn Tahoe. It is just a 100% wool. It is DK weight, 107 yards per ball. So I got 2 gray, 2 white, 2 red, and 2 brown for colorwork mittens because it was $3.49 a ball. That's ridiculous. So good. And it's very nice and sheepy. It says Yarn Light by Fair Isle. This colorway is charcoal. It's distributed out of Ontario, Canada, so I don't know. I'd never heard of this brand before, but it's a very affordable, nice, sheepy yarn. I don't know. I have enough to make a couple different pairs of colorwork mittens out of it. I put these to dry on my vent, and they've got some random toddler paint on them because my kids also dry their paintings on the vents. So little bits of paint stay on there. Blocking is at your own risk. So I completed one mitten. I had it weirdly in my head that I was going to knit a whole pair of colorwork mittens before I went to Connecticut next time. I didn't complete them before my trip. I was gone for a week. I'll talk about that in the blather section. We survived. Let's leave it at that. But I did complete one mitten, and I cast on for the second mitten. So this is the left-hand mitten. These are from the Selbu Mitten Club by Ellie, who is Skein Knits on Ravelry and Instagram. And These are not the Cavello mittens. Oh my God, these are the Selbu mittens. Jeez. I still need to knit myself a pair of Cavello mittens, which is why I'm thinking of it. But this will be pair number 6 of my year-long knit-along, which you need to knit 6 pairs of colorwork mittens over the course of the year. So I may even do 2 entries, because I know that people in my family have requested colorwork mittens. So I'm definitely going to make a pair for my sister for either Christmas or her birthday. And maybe a pair for my mom if she wants them. She has not expressed interest, so I don't know what she thinks of that. But if she wants them, I will make some for her. So I did the gray as my background color and the white as my contrast color. There is the absolutely adorable thumb. I love that color mittens can be finger puppets, or hand puppets, sorry. So there you go. The cuff is this very nice stylized flower, and then on the front it has these 2 Norwegian stars, I think is what they're called. They remind me a lot of poinsettias. I really love these mittens. They're so pretty. So pretty, and I love the gray and white. It's very subtle and nice. I like them. So I see them as being very traditional colors. Here's my white. It's a very bright white, and I might even see if I can find more colors of it at another Tuesday morning. I went to 2 different Tuesday mornings. I don't remember why. Oh, I do. I bought a headset and one of them didn't work, so I returned it. And of course, I've got to check the yarn at that one too, and that's where I found the brown and the red. They did not have more of the white though. So anyway, there's the white. And take this off. This is how much I have done of the second one. So I believe I was almost done with the second cuff chart and ready to start the hand. So colorwork mittens are so fast to knit, especially in the DK weight. So if you are thinking of trying some, I would suggest the any of the mittens from the Selbu Mitten Club. They are all very accessible and they all use DK weight yarn, so they're a pretty quick knit. I realized that I had this set of needle tips from my Aunt Lynn, and I thought they were 7s, but they're actually 6s. So I've been knitting all of my DK weight mittens with size 6 needles, so I was very happy to have another pair. Anyway, so Selbu Mittens by Ellie of Skein-Deer Knits. I love them. They're amazing. Go knit some. Moving on. Okay, and then the other thing I've done a lot of knitting on is my Zweig pullover. That is a pattern that everybody in the world is knitting by Boyland Knitworks. It's a great pattern, and I am almost done with the lace portion on the yoke. I'm hoping to finish that before I need to travel again, because I think then the body will be very easy to knit. I did order a new pair of needles though, because I'm doing these on just plain Addies and the tips are very blunt, and knitting with hedgehog fibers on those is not my jam. Let's just say that. So there is some short row shaping to shape the back of the neck. I think I'm showing this to you correctly. It might be like that. So my colors, I'm doing, this is a Yak Merino blend. It does not have a name. It was from a No Maker's Garage sale. She decided not to carry this base. I believe it's pretty similar to the Baby Got Yak base that Lolo Did It carries. So if you are interested in getting some yak yarn, it is beautiful. So if it's anything like this one, go get some because it's amazing to knit with. And it's like a soft baby bird or kitten. I did the little bit of color work. I think for the part on the bottom of the yoke, I will go up a needle size. I did not on this color work, and I think it's going to be a little bit kind of airy and pulley, but it's fine because it's up pretty high, so I think that'll be okay. And then the lace I did in Hedgehog Fibers in the teacup colorway, which is like one of my favorite colorways of Hedgehog Fibers that there is. It's got these really beautiful subtle speckles of brown, which is why I thought it'd be good with this. And it's got those neon pink pops, which somehow still managed to look pastel. A little bit more speckling on this side. So pretty. My friend Andrea said that this color palette is way more me, and I agree, than my previous one. So yeah, even back here, so you can see those really pretty neon pops of pink. Oh, I want this sweater so bad. I think this will be a really good spring sweater too, because it's pretty, despite being, you know, out of fingering weight yarn, it's pretty airy. So I think it'll make a nice light layer. So that's that. My Zweig. Okay. And then the next thing I've been knitting on is my Washed Out Shawl by Joji Locatelli. I have completed working with the first color. I am all 100% on the second color. This is the Amren colorway from Wool and Vine Yarns in the Blitz base. So the first two I did are in the Blitz base, and then my last colorway will be this one, which is Moonstone Dye Works in the Stardust colorway. Okay, I'm knitting this on my size 5 Licca needles. I switched out my stitch marker. I finally remembered to do it. So this is a Little Bitty Delights from the Gilmore Girls collection. It's a little latte with a heart on it. I had a mocha, peppermint mocha, but the little peppermints kept actually sticking in my knitting because I have to kind of ball this up to fit it in the bag. And I like that this one's not so Christmassy. It's not Christmas time. And here it is so far. Whoops, sorry. So my colorways are Evil Queen, that's this side. Evil Queen. This part you started fading in the Amren. You can tell a little bit. It does make it be a little bit lighter than this section. But I didn't think it was enough to really make a huge difference, and I do not have enough of my second color for what the pattern calls for, so I just left it out. And I started fading it in back up here when I got closer to the lace section. And then the lace I did 100% in the Amren color, and now, like I said, I'm all Amren all the time. I think that fading turned out really, really nice. And then the end part will be just that Stardust, which will be so pretty. So it's kind of an irregular triangular shape. Which I love to wear, so I'm very excited to have this be done. It's going to be a very, very large wrap, but I think it will be really pretty with some summer dresses and spring attire. It looks like watercolor painting. Isn't it so pretty? Sorry, sometimes I stop to admire my knitting. You gotta do that. You gotta stop to admire your knitting, right? And I think these colors look really nice too. Yeah, they look good. So Washed Out by Joji Locatelli. She just released her Fading Point. I do not think I'm going to knit that one because I don't really like rectangular wraps. But if you like her Starting Point, it's the Starting Point but with fading colors. And last knitting that I really did anything with, I'll also show you my Sperry, but again, I haven't done a ton on it. I haven't done a lot on this either. So these are my octopus mittens with the gorgeous Rauma Phenol Garn. I think it might be Phenol PT2 that Kristen gave me for my birthday. Totally my colors. Gold and a very deep sea blue. I want a whole sweater's quantity in this because, oh my gosh, guys, look at that. See? Oh yeah, that's more the color. It's a little bit deeper than that, but it shows you that it's not black. And then a very nice mustard. So those are my two colors that I'm working together. These are a labor of love. I don't expect them to be fast, but they're fun to work on here and there, and I will have them done before the end of the year. I keep wanting to say fiscal year, which is stupid. I'm not talking about fiscal year. I guess my fiscal year is January through December. That's what we would say at work. And of course, I needed a nautical themed progress keeper, so this is the beautiful ice cream narwhal from Sugar Dots. And you're starting to be able to see the tentacles. So the tentacles wrap around the mitten. These are supposed to represent the suckers that are on the bottom of an octopus's arms. So yeah, they're getting there. It has a double cuff, so it's going to be super warm. So you knit the cuff, fold it under, knit two together all the way around, and then continue with the color work. So it's a little puffy, but it's going to be really nice in winter time to keep that part of your wrist warm where it kind of fuses with your coat. And that is in my Chasing Acorns bag that I got from my mom, I think for Christmas. Yes, for Christmas. And it is nice because you can snap it and make a box bottom. Or you can unsnap it and it can just be a drawstring bag. And it has a really nice carabiner on it to stick it on your bag. Okay. And last thing, I cast on for a Sperry. I don't think this has grown any since I showed it to you guys last time. No, I'm not even going to show it. What the heck. I'm really trying to finish Zweig. I was going to work on Sperry, but I was like, I need to finish Zweig. I need to have a done thing. I did also do a little bit of cross stitch while I was in my hotel room because all I did was come back and sit in my hotel room at night. It's funny, people were asking me, oh, what did you do tonight? I'm like, oh, I went and sat in my hotel room. It was glorious. I went in my hotel and I got snacks from Whole Foods, and I drank coffee and knit and watched podcasts, or I cross-stitched. I did not turn on the TV at all the whole time I was in the hotel room, which is funny because it's this giant screen TV, and I just watched my teeny little monitor and watched podcasts. But that's what I do. That is what I do. So this is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Sweet as Pie Stitch Along. It's a year-long stitch along. It's about ready to wrap up. I think we get our last clue in May. But yeah, obviously I'm not caught up on it, but I've got a little bit done on a lot of different pies. So I've been working on kind of the border and the little ancillary designs that there are on it. So there's a little baking mitts and there's a big bow at the top. So this is one side of the little bow, and then it's filled in with like a lighter pink, and there's a crust border that goes all around all of the pies. I've done just a wee bit of that crust border, which you can see right there. So yeah, I was just wanting to work like little sections that were going to be all one color, so I didn't have to do a lot of color changing. It's very fun. I'm excited to finish it, and then it will be hanging in my new kitchen, wherever that may be. Okay, and that brings me to acquisitions, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a D-stash and then kind of general blather. Ooh, and I want to talk about, yeah, I can talk about those. Okay, so I bought some patterns. I've been doing really well with the shelf portion of the Stash or Shelf Challenge. Did I say shelf? The stash portion, not the shelf portion, because I keep buying things and ooh, shiny, but I expected that to happen. So, the delightful Caitlin Hunter, who is Boyland Knitworks, released the mini version of the Sunset Highway sweater. And Megwin is still all about matchy-matchy with me. I have been knitting her similar versions of whatever sweaters I've knit for myself. Sperry has a kid's version, and now Sunset Highway has a mini version. And it was on sale for like $1, or it was 50% off for a limited time after it was released. So I went ahead and bought it, even though I'm probably not going to cast it on for a while. Maybe for her fall sweater or her Christmas sweater next year. I don't know. She's going to need more sweaters now that we're going to live somewhere where it snows a crap ton. So it's just the same Sunset Highway pattern, but in miniature. And it's adorable. So I will probably let her pick out her yarns for that, and that'll be fun for her to do. I have the Impressionist MCal pattern all printed out and ready to go here. There are 2 clues already out. The 3rd clue was released today. I have not started mine yet, but I have my kit. So I got the sparkle version of the Lowland Pine Yarns kit. It included 3 skeins of her blitzed yarn in Solstice, Curious, and Thaw. This is going to match so much of my wardrobe. My mom almost stole it when I went over to her house, but I wrestled it away from her. Sorry, Mom. So I will cast on the Impressionist shawl at some point. I am not concerned about there being spoilers out there. I just wanted to do it because it's Helen Stewart and I love all of her things. Continuing my love affair with all Amy Miller designs because I am a total fangirl. I don't know at what point that crosses over to being a knitting stalker, but probably pretty close. Sperry is an Amy Miller pattern, and now I bought the Birkin sweater. Not the Birkin with the colorwork yoke. This one is a beautiful lace pullover, lightweight. I think it's in sport weight yarn. So I'm going to use my Yarn Baby for this. The skein as big as your head that I've showed previously. It's olive and kind of a deep rose color marled yarn. It's Briar Rose fibers. It's 100% wool, sport weight yarn. So I think it'll be perfect for this. My one skein is 1,300 yards. I have plenty to make this sweater. Why haven't more people knit this? I don't know, because it's beautiful. But I'm going to knit it, and then maybe more people will knit it. I don't know. Okay, and last but not least, I follow Sylvia McFadden on Instagram, and I don't remember what her Instagram name is, but I love her stuff. Oh, she's Soft Sweater. Yeah. She's Soft Sweater. So you definitely should check out her feed. It's beautiful, well curated, and she's a great designer. So she released her first ever sweater pattern, and it is amazing. And I want to cast it on like right now or yesterday. I picked out the yarn to do it. I just need to swatch for it, and then this will definitely be on my needles very, very soon. So it is called the Lovable Sweater. And the idea behind it is that it's going to fit any body shape, any body type. It does not have shaping on it, but it is an all-over lacy cable pattern. And it looks good on everyone that's in here. And there's all different shapes and sizes of models. I love the concept behind it. I think it's gorgeous. She used a very beautiful natural brown yarn. That's not what I'm going to use. I will show you what I'm going to use in a moment after I drink some coffee. It calls for Aran weight yarn. Let me show you a close-up. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. So I am going to use the very oldest sweater quantity in my stash. The first ever sweater quantity purchased by me. It is Lains du Nord. Lains du Nord? I don't speak French. Cash silk. So it is 50% merino, extra fine, 25% silk, and 25% cashmere. And it is so freaking soft, like buttery, buttery kittens. These skeins are very small. I have 20 of them. I think there's 67 yards each. Yeah. So there is enough to make this sweater in my size. I'm probably going to knit the size 38. But it is this indescribable mix of blue and purple. I guess a cornflower blue. I don't know. It's amazing though. It's like a violet-y, lavendery, bluey, beautiful squidgy thing, and I want to have that in a sweater. It's going to be an amazing sweater that I will want to wear all the time. I love it. This has been in my stash since 2005, so it's well marinated. It is ready to become and I think that's small enough silk content, the 25%, that it won't give it too much drape. The rest of it is all wool and cashmere, so it should be fine. It's a beefy pattern, and I didn't even print all the pages. It's 22 pages because she has written instructions all the way through. She has charted, and she wrote it as fill in the blanks method, which is beautiful. So you go to the chart in the back, you pick out what your size is, and it has all the numbers to fill in the blanks. So you could easily go, well, for the top I want a size X, but on the middle I want size Y, and you just fill in the blanks on all the numbers and go. And there are different charts for the front, the sleeves. I think the back might be plain. There's actually no views of the back, so I really don't know. Oh, nope, there's one in the back, so it's patterned on both sides. It's top down raglan. So here's kind of the schematic for it. So you cast on here, there's the raglan increases to here, cast off. And there it is on, I believe this is Sylvia McFadden. It looks gorgeous on her too, and she has a picture of it on her mom. And it also looks beautiful. So all ages, all sizes, all shapes, this sweater is for you. The Lovable Sweater. I love it. It is lovable. So I need to swatch for that, because that would be a good one to knit on when I am traveling again, which will happen, though not for as long as I was gone before. And then, from the Edinburgh Yarn Festival, I got a beautiful John Arbon Textiles project bag. some Undercover Otter, which I've never tried before. It's an Amsterdam dyer on the Squirm sock base. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. It's kind of sheepy, so it is 80% merino, 20% nylon superwash, but it feels not like superwash. It doesn't feel slippery. So I really want to make a hat out of it, and I'm kind of thinking sockhead hat, because I think that'd be really cool as a sockhead hat. Reminds me of Rainbow Dash. Wouldn't it make a pretty sockhead hat? I think that's what it has to be. It has to be a sockhead, because it would be so warm too. So, so amazing. So beautiful. I love it. Really, really love it. Megan wants it, and I hid it from her because it's mine. Tiny little. It's from Hand Drawn Yarn. I love it. It says emergency yarn stash in case of emergency. Cast on. And it's got a little tiny tartan. And last but not least, because oh my god, I have to share this. Because you all want one. You know you do. A mini unicorn cupcake soap. This smells so good. Glittery cupcake soap. I told my husband this is not for eating. He has a bit of a history with eating things that look like food but actually turn out to be soap. It's a joke in the family now. So I was like, don't eat this. It is not food. It is not candy. It is not food. And last but not least, I bought this for Penguin's room yesterday at Tuesday morning. Normally I don't share things that are not knitting related, but it's like paper mache on top. Well, it's canvas, but then it's got like cut paper for this design that's then painted over. Can you even? Oh my gosh. I was like, if you don't want it, I'm putting it up in my craft room. But she was very, very excited and squeed about it. Like I knew she would. So it's just on a canvas. So we'll just hang it on her wall, just like that. Alright, so blather and then I'll do destash. So 2 weeks ago I went on my trip to Connecticut. The first day when I got there, everything was fine. I drove to work, or sorry, I went out to drive to work, and there was snow. There was no snow predicted in the forecast, so I did not bring snow boots or my heavier winter coat. However, I did have colorwork mittens. Thank goodness. There was no scraper in the rental car that I had either. So I went out to 3 inches of snow on my car, and I took a picture, which I will insert here. So I was like, what am I gonna do? Luckily it was very fluffy, kind of wet snow. So I just took my colorwork mittens and I brushed it off, and I was like, you're not gonna defeat me, Connecticut. I'm a knitter. So my mittens, while they got pretty wet on the outside, they were still really warm and they were dry on the inside. So yay for Woven Spun yarn. Thanks, Ellie. So then I went to work all week. It was really crazy. I had to learn a lot. The person who was supposed to be cross-training me unfortunately had a death in the family, so they did not come. But there was another coworker of mine who was there, who had also cross-trained, so we just tried to muddle through and figure it out. I do still need to schedule time with the person who I'm taking over for, but we did it. We made it work. And it was nice to get to explore a little bit more of the town. I had a nice dinner with my new team, so it's good to interact with them in a more social setting and get to know some of them a little bit better over the course of the week. So I think it'll be really good. I'm very, very excited and eager to take on the new challenge. And it's going to be tough, but I think it will be really good for me in terms of growth. And so yeah, I'm excited. So we've actually been working over the last 2 or 3 weeks to get our house ready for sale. So we had everything kind of stack up on top of each other while I was gone. We had scheduled to get new gravel in the driveway, to get topsoil delivered, and both of those things happened while I was gone, so it's great. I came home and now I have a brand new gravel driveway, which is much better to drive on than the big muddy mess that had become the faux gravel driveway that we got from the people that sold the house to us. I think they put like an inch of gravel, enough so that it covered everything, and then as soon as we drove on it a few times, it was like all gone. So we've been driving on like mud and grass for almost 10 years. And then we got dirt to fill in all the terracing that my husband had done, so it looks a lot nicer. So I just need to go and buy some annuals or something to kind of fill in that space. And then when the people who buy the house are here, they can make it their own, but that'll help suppress weeds and stuff. And then when I got back, we had asked the people who were coming to box in the ductwork to come, and they showed up on the same day as the roofers. So my husband and I were joking that what if they have some kind of weird gang rivalry or something. So I was singing the "When You're a Jet All the Way" song from West Side Story, but I had adapted it to be "When you hang slate all the way." It was really fun, and I went around like singing it a lot. My husband and I both were in musicals, and he did a lot of construction and stuff for musicals and for the opera company, so we are not without singing talent. So it's kind of fun sometimes when we just belt out show tunes, but we adapt them for our daily lives, because that's what musicals are all about, right? Some things, the emotions are so strong that you have to sing them. You can't just say them, you have to sing them. Yeah. So all of that is done. The last steps are painting, because we're going to have painters come out and scrape and paint the house. We have to paint the new drywall that was put up around our ducts, and then just kind of more generally go around and paint over all the places where the children have decided that the walls needed crayon artwork or painting or what have you. Joshua, the alternate media artist, has decorated our entire home, and we have to undecorate it, which will be fun, but it's not a ton. A lot of it washes off because I mostly buy washable paints and markers and crayons to save my sanity, but sometimes they get a hold of other things like Sharpies and pens and pencils, so some work must be done. And then there were some places where the previous owners hung pictures and stuff, but since we have plaster and lathe walls, they're very uneven and there aren't studs, so if you don't hang things in the right places, they'll just rip out of the wall and make a big hole. So they did not take care to hang things properly, so there are some places where there were holes from them, so we've had to spackle over those, and we'll have to go and do touch-up work. So I'm going to try to do a lot of that this weekend. I took a couple days off next week to do some more work on the house, so we're aiming for hopefully listing our house beginning of May, and fingers crossed we'll get some buyers relatively quickly. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much been consuming my life. I come home, I start working on stuff. My husband is doing a ton of work, like all day, every day, purging, cleaning, straightening. It's a lot, because we were not planning on moving. So the level that we would consider to just be normal clean is not show ready. And for those of you who have sold a house, you'll know what I'm talking about if you have kids. Yeah, it's a whole different level of clean, and it's going to take a little while to get our house to that state, but we have the rest of April to do it, and hopefully we will be pretty successful in that. So I'm going to show you the things I have for destash. I still haven't got back whatever yarn that my friend Andrea does not want. When I get that back, I will show that on the podcast. But I do have some books and magazines, etc. that I'm giving away. So if you want them, please contact me. I just ask that you would cover postage for sending them to you. I don't want anything for them, but yeah. Probably for some of them it would be US only, just because I think the postage would be prohibitive, but I don't know, maybe you'd be willing to pay postage for them. And if nobody wants them, I'm donating them. So, I have a Cast On for Knitters May to July 2007 magazine. Some pretty good stuff in there. You can look most of these up on Ravelry and see what's inside of them, but I'm not going to go through them. I will make a listing on my stash page, I guess. I'll make an entry that'll be a destash, and I'll put the details on there so you can look. Expectant Little Knits. I'm not having any more babies, but maybe you are. They're knitting stuff up for when you are pregnant. Knitting Simple Sweaters from Luxurious Yarns. These are some really great basic sweater patterns. Knit and Style, August 2008. Knit.1, Winter 2006-2007. There's some pretty good stranded colorwork stuff in here, and various Valentine themed things. Vogue Knitting Winter 2013-2014. Again, this one was kind of focused on stranded knitting, etc. There might be a reflection here. I'm sorry if there is a reflection. Linea Pura from Lana Grossa, number 4. This is all about their eco yarn. So it's kind of a larger periodical, more springy knits. So there's an idea of one. I think this one was not listed on Ravelry, but it has some really pretty stuff. I'm just not going to get to it. So like a shawl, this sweater. That was a crochet pattern. Some little tank tops. Yeah. So some pretty cute stuff in there. Cast On February through April 2013. This one has quite a few baubles patterns. I am not a fan of baubles, but maybe you are. There's some kid sweaters, some adult sweaters, some socks. New Baby Knits by Debbie Bliss. Again, I'm not going to have any more babies. I've knit what I wanted to knit out of this. I think this one is out of print now. Miss B's Colors by Louisa Harding. This is a Rowan publication. Kind of oversized kids stuff. And Knitter's Stash, Favorite Patterns from America's Yarn Shops by Interweave Press. There's 33 patterns in here. kind of just an entry about stash. It's got a nice mix of like some stranded stuff, bunch of sweaters. Yeah. So that's what I've got so far. I've only gone through like one shelf of books and magazines, but yeah, like I said, if you're interested in any of those, send me a PM on Ravelry and we will figure it out for covering postage. So that's everything I have for this week. I will try to record the prize thing either to put onto the end of this episode, or I may just make a separate little mini-sode because this is already an hour long and I don't want to make it an hour and 20 minutes just to announce winners. So I will see you guys in 2 weeks, and in the meantime, spend time doing the things you love, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye. Hey, be careful down there.
I'm going with this one.
Okay.
But, whoa.
Cool.
That was huge. Ooh. But, whoa, I put in there one.
Okay, buddy.
I don't want to go that because these are so down.
Yeah.
But actually, Sissy, I saw that.
Okay.
Sissy was like so bad.
Okay, well, I hope she wasn't touching it.
Sissy was right touched it.
Oh.
But you're right.